All right, welcome back to another episode of our Vendo podcast. Super excited today. We got a great roundtable here. We got first off our superstar account strategist on the Walmart side, Mark Jordan. Mark, how you doing?
Good, you're doing well. Yeah, excited to be here again today.
Awesome. And then we have a very special guest from our Walmart partnership. Raghav Mathur is here joining us from the Marketplace Development Team. I probably butchered your title there. So Raghav, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Thanks, Darren. You were pretty close. I'm Raghav Mathur from the Walmart Business Development Team, specifically focused on our US marketplace. So my role involves helping sellers who are interested in marketplace learn more about the platform, fill out their application, get set up on site, and get launched and then get going. After they go live on site, I don't really handle much of the account management side. That's a separate team. And of course, folks working with agencies like yourselves have extra channels of support there. But I'm happy to talk all things, before getting live, learn about the platform, the application process, and really excited to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we're excited to dive in here. This is a channel that's exploding from an e-commerce standpoint, right? Walmart is now the #2 marketplace, just behind another company we won't mention in Seattle, right? So, but I think a good starting point here for our audience, and I'll defer to both you and Mark on this, is let's talk a little bit about what is the Walmart Marketplace? How can you sell on the Walmart Marketplace, right? Things like that. So, Raghav, if you want to kick it off, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So Walmart Marketplace is a third-party marketplace existing on Walmart.com, as the name might suggest. Very similar to the way the marketplace works on Amazon or on eBay, where you're able to list items for sale on Walmart.com through Seller Center, our third-party portal. The items will live and exist on Walmart.com and be searchable by any customer shopping the site. And if you win the buy box and a customer buys the item on our site, the order will come through to you, you fulfill it to the customer, and the customer is happy and receives the item. We're trying to make it as seamless a process as possible. I think historically marketplaces have had a bit of a challenge with customers being able to differentiate, what am I buying from Walmart? What's a marketplace seller? What does that mean? Like, how are these things different? And I think with Walmart, our goal is really to make the process as streamlined as possible so that for customers, they're shopping at Walmart, whether it's in-store.com, marketplace, it's all just Walmart to them. And we can rely on that household name and that brand trust that we have built up. So a lot of our sellers are really happy to be on the platform just because of the reputation that we have. I know with Amazon, sometimes there are concerns around some of the practices that they've done with marketplace and how it interacts with the first party business. We're really trying to make people feel comfortable and confident shopping at a household name brand that people go to and have been going to for 50 years for everything from groceries to HDTVs to Xboxes.
Yeah, I got to tell you, using the Walmart grocery pickup or store delivery, like it's been fantastic, especially here in California on the West Coast. It's pretty seamless, whether you order direct through Walmart or even if you use Instacart to get Walmart deliveries. It's a fantastic process. I definitely encourage our audience to test it. You'd be amazed at how convenient it is to not leave your house and get the groceries delivered. And by the way, when they substitute, what's interesting is they'll substitute sometimes like a larger item at the same price, or hey, we don't have the 16 ounce, so we'll give you the 24 ounce, right? So definitely a lot happening in terms of the online pickup space. Mark, did you want to talk a little bit about like transitioning from Walmart Marketplace from other e-commerce platforms?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big advocate of the Walmart Marketplace myself, as I used to work on the same team with Raghav when I used to work at Walmart on the Marketplace team. And so, definitely, my experience when I was there and now when we work with brands and we're trying to help them either start their journey on a marketplace for the first time or maybe transition from another channel. There are definitely some seamless ways, whether they're integrating via Shopify and the partnership that Walmart has with them there, or Raghav, the recent announcement with BigCommerce as well, correct?
Yep.
Maybe you could give us a little insight there on what that partnership looks like and some of the ways sellers are taking advantage on how they're transitioning over from some other channels as well.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, you hit the nail on the head. I think our goal with partnerships with integration companies like BigCommerce, SedCommerce, Channel Advisor, Seller Active, Sellbrite, whatever it may be, our goal is to make the process as seamless as possible for our sellers. We know that historically, again, like I said, one of the big challenges that we've heard from sellers is Walmart Marketplace is great and all, and the opportunity is great, but it's just so different. It's a different interface. It's a different way of working. It's a different process, and the APRs aren't as expansive as we'd like them to be. We've really been taking that feedback into account, and we're going after some of the biggest partners that we see doing great in the space. BigCommerce is an example of a channel partner that has just done a fantastic job creating a seamless seller experience, and where sellers can manage their own website, manage other channels that they're working with, like Walmart, Amazon, and other channels. So plugging in Walmart to that seemed like a no-brainer, basically. And our goal is to make it as simple as just clicking a button to import your catalog into Walmart.com. I'm sure y'all must have seen, if you have sellers that work with Shopify, we designed that plugin to specifically be zero headache, where you have your catalog set up on Shopify, you have your inventory, everything is set up through Shopify. All you have to do is install the plugin, import the items, do a one-time account setup, and from then on, you don't really have to think about Walmart at all. I mean, we'd love for you to think about us as much as possible and keep enhancing your partnership with us, but if you want to just get your items up and running, it's a very straightforward process. So BigCommerce is another example of a partner that we're really working with to build out a native solution and make sure that people feel confident and comfortable working with them to get onto Walmart.
What would you say have been some of the successes you've seen from sellers? Or let me phrase it a little bit differently. Like I asked this in another interview, was what do you think some sellers are doing right? And what do you think some sellers are doing wrong? So basically, what's it take to be successful, and how are people failing on the platform?
Yeah, that's a great question, Darren. And I think if we're able to come up with a definitive answer for that, I think we'll be, forget millionaires, we'll be billionaires. So best of luck to you in your journey to find that. But I can tell you so far in my just in my experience, the way I think about it is, for a seller to succeed on Walmart Marketplace, or on any marketplace for that matter, they have to be doing one of two things. One, they have to be selling something that's not being sold currently, or that is short on supply. They have to be providing some kind of net new assortment. So think about, if a new type of camera comes out and is blowing up in the market and nobody else on Walmart's selling it, coming in and selling that gives you a clear and easy advantage, where you're filling a hole in the market and able to provide some assortment for that white space. Or another example could be when the COVID pandemic first started, Walmart was out of stock or low in supply on a lot of household essentials. Think hand sanitizers, toilet paper, paper towels, canned foods, medication, all kinds of stuff. If you're able to come in and fill an assortment gap that is happening due to some external factor, another great way to make sure that your items are going to get visibility. So that's one way to succeed. I think the other way, if you're not bringing in something that's net new, is to bring in something that's already being sold, but provide a better customer experience doing so. So whether that means more competitive pricing, making sure that you can undercut the competition and win that buy box, better content, maybe it's a type of product that we are selling, but all the descriptions and images are, not that comprehensive, and customers aren't really able to understand what the product is, or how to use it, or how to interact with it. Or maybe it's a faster shipping speed, where we don't currently ship that item to customers in 2 days or less, or all the existing marketplace sellers are only offering a slower ground-based shipping method. If you come in and offer 2-day or next day shipping free of charge, that's a surefire way to make sure that customers are going to want to buy that product and shop with you instead of other sellers. So I'd say generally sellers that succeed, Darren and Mark, fall into one of those two buckets, where either they're providing something net new, or they're providing stuff that already exists, but in a much better way.
On that topic of the 2-day delivery or 24 hours, Walmart has come out with, or is coming out with, WFS, right? So do you want to talk a little bit about the offerings, very similar to, whether it's FBA or other programs on other channels?
Yeah, absolutely. So WFS, Walmart Fulfillment Services, is very similar to Amazon's FBA, Fulfilled by Amazon model, or working with companies like Deliver that are kind of native 3PLs that integrate with marketplace channels. The idea behind WFS is that instead of having to hold inventory yourself and ship it out to customers from your warehouse when orders come in, you can ship the inventory to Walmart warehouses. You'll still own the inventory, we'll just hang on to it for you. And when orders come in, we can ship them out much quicker and at much better rates generally than most sellers can. So it's a great kind of best of both worlds solution, where the seller is still able to control the pricing, what's being sold, the quantities that they're sending in, and of course you maintain ownership of the products if you ever need to pull them out. But at the same time, customers and the Walmart ecosystem is able to leverage the scale at which we operate to provide sellers and customers with the best-in-class shipping rates. Maybe second only to FBA, though I can't say for sure. We're able to provide much better shipping rates, a much faster processing time, and less headache in general. I think you're gonna find that's a common theme when it comes to Walmart Marketplace, is we're really trying to take all the lessons that marketplaces in general have learned and that we've learned over the last several years of building our platform. And we're really listening to seller feedback, whether it's directly given to us, chatted about on forums like Marketplace Pulse, or shared on Facebook or Twitter. We are listening, and we are factoring that in when we figure out what programs to roll out and what initiatives to push. So WFS, I think, is a great example where we're taking all the best parts of other similar 3PL type solutions where the platform is holding the inventory, but then providing our own twist on it where it's super straightforward, leveraging Walmart's network, and providing the right badging and communication to customers on site so that they understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. That's, I I know the marketplace team has worked tirelessly to roll out new strategies and new ways to really improve this business and really compete with all of the other marketplaces. Can you, kind of staying on this topic of being a good seller, can you talk a little bit about maybe ways that Walmart incentivizes the sellers to come onto the platform? Possibly like, we know that the new pro seller badge has been really important to a lot of sellers who have been, really great sellers and meeting the demands of the customers. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes with that, if possible, and how Walmart, continues to want to incentivize sellers to join the platform and ways that they showcase that on site?
Yeah, totally. So it's actually great timing that we're doing this interview now, because I'm not sure when this is going to air, but if it airs before, I believe, the end of March, we're doing an initiative right now called New Seller Savings, where any seller that applies before the end of March and goes live before May 1st, if I'm getting those dates correct, will be able to launch on site and sell commission free for 30 days. So this is a great example of an initiative that we're launching in addition to kind of following up on programs like BigCommerce, WFS, Shopify, and other awesome initiatives, so that sellers can be incentivized to come on, join now, feel out the platform with zero risk to them, and really learn the ropes before scaling things up. Now, obviously, that's a time promotion. I think your question was more about generally what are we doing to incentivize sellers to come to the platform. I think there are a lot of really interesting things that Walmart offers in terms of special programs that a lot of other sites don't offer, or that if they do offer, we're doing it better, just to put it bluntly, and toot my own Walmart horn. One example of this, which is kind of a unique program that not a lot of sellers know about just yet, we have a partnership with Goldman Sachs, with Marcus by Goldman Sachs, where sellers that are selling on the platform that meet certain eligibility criteria based on revenue and amount of sales they're doing can be eligible for lines of credit through their Walmart Seller Center account, and backed up by Goldman Sachs, obviously, which is a great way to bring more cash into your supply chain and into your business while being backed up by the fact that you are selling and doing well on Walmart.com. So it can be significantly lower risk and a better offer in terms of interest rates and such, going through Walmart and getting that loan or getting that line of credit, rather than going through a traditional bank or credit card company. So really trying to think about, again, like I said, listening to the sellers, understanding what their needs are. We'd heard from a lot of sellers that access to cash flow was a challenge. And I'm sure you see this all the time working with a bunch of different vendors and sellers. When you're getting to the scale of working with a company like Walmart, sometimes cash flow can be a challenge. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to mitigate that for sellers. Another example, which I think you mentioned already, is the Pro Seller Badge, where if you start selling on site and you meet certain eligibility criteria based on if you're shipping things on time, if your item content is strong, if you're offering 2-day delivery, and a couple other factors that I'm blanking on right now, but you can read more about it on our website. You're eligible to get this badge that says Pro Seller on site, which shows to customers that this is a seller that has a history of doing well, of caring for its customers, of following up with customer service, offering the right returns, the right pricing, the right ship speed. And again, really trying to give folks that comfort of knowing that even though I'm shopping from a third party and it's not, the Walmart that I know and trust completely, Walmart is vouching for them by giving them that trust and saying that we've seen you do well. Here's some, incentives to show customers that buying from you is a good idea. In addition to that, we also have some other really cool technology solutions. And I'm looking over here because I got a few notes of just all the programs that we have, because we have a lot. One of the other cool programs that we have that a lot of folks don't know about is we offer a program called Smart Tags. Now, we know that 2-day shipping is obviously the word of the decade when it comes to e-commerce. And I think the shipping speed expectations are just going to keep getting faster and faster when it comes to buying stuff online. What we've also realized, of course, is that at this point, 2-day shipping can still be prohibitively expensive for a lot of sellers, especially ones that aren't enrolled in a program like WFS or FBA. So what we've done is we've built out an AI-based solution that identifies in what regions, based on where a seller is shipping items from, it identifies what regions are going to get the items in 2 days or less, regardless of the ship speed that the seller sends them at. So what I mean by that is if I have a warehouse in New Jersey, for example, and I ship an item to somebody and I use FedEx and I pay for FedEx Ground, I think the SLA and the expectation with FedEx Ground is 2 to 5 business days. That 2 days can be reached if I'm shipping that package from Jersey to somewhere in, say, Pennsylvania or New York State, or maybe Connecticut or Delaware. And what we basically do is we'll find out where a seller is shipping from. We'll find out where a customer is when they're browsing for products on site. And if a customer is within the radius that we can pretty reliably say that you're probably going to get this in 2 days, we'll put a 2-day shipping badge up on that product for that specific customer at that time. And we've had great results with that so far. I can't share specifics, but I can tell you that there's a huge conversion rate lift when folks offer 2-day shipping in general. And so the fact that we're able to offer a 2-day shipping badge for folks that don't have to pay for 2-day, I think is a great example of how we're leveraging our technology and our scale to really help customers get a good deal and help sellers increase their conversion rate. So I could keep going on, but I want to pause there because I don't want to turn this into just the 45-minute Walmart webinar. I want to make sure we're talking about it. But I'm actually curious to hear about if I can kind of flip it here and ask a question of you two, like what kind of stuff you've seen in terms of programs that Walmart's offering that your sellers and your partners are really taking advantage of.
Yeah, Mark, I'll jump in real quick. I think from our perspective, the partnership that we've established with one of the third-party marketing agencies, like PackView, we've seen a lot of our clients engage in to really leverage sponsored ads on the platform. So whether it's a marketplace seller or a seller, I think that's proved very valuable, especially as Walmart's continued to add different sponsored placements and continues to evolve that program. I'd say that's one tool that we've seen a lot of sellers taking advantage of. Mark, I don't know if you want to chime in with any others.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's also what I would say is that partnership has been huge in a lot of our success, as I think that just from experience kind of being on both sides, working at Walmart, now working with suppliers, the Walmart self-service systems for advertising can be a bit like bare bones, but also kind of overwhelming at the same time if you're new to it. And so partnering with a trusted partner like PackView to actually be able to work on behalf of those campaigns and really dive into the details and the data, I think it's awesome. And how you can really drive your business. I know you talked a bit about the smart tags in 2-day. We've implemented that on some of our accounts as well, and I think that's really we've gotten pro seller badges as well and things of that nature. So there's definitely a lot of programs. I really appreciate that Walmart sends out regular communication, whether that's through like new strategies or new implementations of the products that are coming out for sellers, as well as a lot of the webinars that come out. I know you guys host a lot of, it might even be monthly at this point, where you guys are hosting webinars or you're actually having people join and you're able to answer their real-time questions in the chat. I join them frequently just to kind of stay up to date and ask questions. I think it's really nice that Walmart, that you guys put faces to the platform. You guys have like a white glove service where we as sellers, like, we know who we're talking to at Walmart Marketplace. I think that's, we appreciate that. You guys are showing yourself and the team and really talking about what's different about the platform versus other competitors. So that's kind of what I would say about that. Yeah.
Awesome. Glad to hear that you're feeling that. I think that's one thing that I hear from a lot of sellers too, is that they like that they can talk to somebody like me or members on my team to answer, one-off questions. I know it's definitely a challenge as you scale up to keep that level of human connection, and we're very well aware of that. But I think as long as we can, pretty much, we're going to keep that human element in there, because when you're setting up a new sales channel, whether you're a small mom and pop store around the corner that's selling, cooking supplies, or you're a multinational publicly traded company, you don't want to, how do I phrase this? You never like to feel stupid. Nobody likes to feel stupid. And a lot of times when you're presented with a huge knowledge base with a ton of articles, if you don't really know what to ask, it's hard to get to the right answers. So having somebody like me that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can chat about your business with, and that can really spend the time to understand, what does your business look like? How are you managing inventory? What tools or processes or ERP systems are you using? And how can we plug into that in the most seamless way possible? I think people have found that to be super valuable. So I'm glad to hear that, directly from some of the folks we work with that interact with Walmart, that you're feeling that sentiment as well, because that's something that we definitely pride ourselves on a lot.
Yeah, there's the webinar, I think, happening next week from Walmart Marketplace team. That's all over the social media there, which is fantastic. And then I'm seeing a little bit more on Clubhouse, some chats about Walmart.com and selling on Walmart.com. We've been on a couple of those, and we're definitely pushing that initiative and topic. And as we do that, some of Walmart's best practices, Walmart Marketplace best practices. One of my favorite quotes from you that you, Mark, and I had a conversation about a few weeks ago. Mark knows I still quote this when people are asking me about channel control and third-party sellers and rogue distribution of your products on the marketplace. I quote Raghav as saying, "Why should we be responsible to clean up your mess?" Which I love and I think is just fantastic. So look that on Amazon or Walmart, but would love for you to speak to our audience a little bit about best practices, right? And really how to secure the marketplace in a TOS compliant type of way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that quote stuck with you. I just, for the record, I'll say that's me personally talking. That's not the stance of Walmart officially, just so everyone knows. But I think if you were to get an official statement, I don't think it would be too far off of that. I think you're absolutely right. And the context for that quote for people that aren't following was, we have a lot of sellers that come to us asking, how do I take control of my brand's presence on the platform? How do I stop unauthorized sellers from selling our products? How do I, if I own a guitar company, how do I prevent random, joesguitars.com, I'm just making that up again. How do I prevent Joe's Guitars from winning the buy box on all my products and selling items to customers when I'm not seeing a cent of that? Or if I am, it's so far up the chain that I don't know where it's coming from. My answer to those folks is always, to put it a little more politely than I did in that previous call, the best way to beat your competition and to beat your unauthorized sellers is to outcompete them. I mean, if you are the brand owner, if you're the manufacturer, hypothetically, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to price your items lower and ship faster and be better with customer service and offering returns and a great experience. There's no reason you should be worse at that than some, theoretically random mom and pop seller around the corner. So I always tell brands, like, the best solution to keeping control and keeping, like you said, making sure that you're in compliance and making sure that customers are getting the best deal is to sell officially and make sure that you're offering customers a deal so good that they have no reason to buy it from anybody else. I think in general, to answer your question about TOS and compliance and best practices from that perspective, I can't speak too specifically to what our trust and safety team looks for or what are some red flags or things to avoid. But to sum it up, I can tell you this, that if you are a legitimate company, if you're a legitimate seller trying to sell legitimate goods to actual customers, there's no reason that we should be declining you or turning you away from our platform. I think a lot of folks that think too hard about gaming the system, talking about, how do I apply? Who should apply? Where should we apply from? I don't know. You've heard about all these kinds of techniques that people discuss on the forums, and I'm sure that you've been approached with many times. The answer I always give to those folks when they ask me about it is, if you have to think too hard about what's the way that I'm most likely going to get approved, you're probably doing something that's against our policy, and that shouldn't be happening anyway. So to anyone listening who's interested in selling on the platform, all I have to say is, if you're a real seller and you want to sell for real, don't worry about the trust and safety vetting process. Everybody goes through it, and we have one of the lowest fraud rates of the major marketplaces for a reason, because we're very, very good at making sure that we're only letting legit sellers onto the platform. So that's kind of my general advice on that front. I don't want to go into too many specifics, but just, be legit and don't worry about it.
I know Mark's going to ask another question here, but real quick, on that same point, there are tons of YouTube drop shipping on Walmart videos and get rich quick. And, for our audience, I just wanted to Raghav's point, like, there's no shortcut to being successful on the platform. And anybody saying, hey, we can create a turnkey Walmart business for you and source this and do that, like, those are the people that get kicked off and banned on the platform, quite frankly. So being compliant with best practices, that's how you're going to succeed.
Yeah, 100%. And to anybody, I know I've seen a lot of those ads too. I think because I'm on Walmart so often, people think that I'm a potential customer to these drop shipping gurus or whatever. So I keep up to date with what they're saying. And all I can say to anybody listening who's considering working with them is, if you're able to see their marketing and them talking about their techniques and how it's working, so are we. And we're going to be able to realize if you're doing something that's against policy. So there's no arbitrage. There's no way to get rich quick. If you want to build a business selling on Walmart, one, dropshipping is against policy, so don't do that to Walmart customers. And two, take the time, go to marketplace.walmart.com, read through our quick start guides and our what's it called? Our quick start guides and our seller success, tutorials and our Sell Better blog. We have a lot of great resources out there for starting a business and getting set up on Walmart.com. So you can do it without falling victim to the snake oil rings that go around on YouTube and LinkedIn. I'll put it that way. I don't want to get too specific or angry towards them.
I'll put that out there. But just before we move on to the next topic, I will put in the show notes I don't think a lot of people realize you actually do have a brand portal where you can register your brand to take control and to really at least claim ownership of your brand. So I'll put the link, but I don't know if you want to share real quick, Raghav, about the brand portal and how similar to Amazon's brand registry, Walmart actually has a brand portal too. And if you want to talk about the features and benefits of that while we're on the topic.
Yeah, totally. So Brand Portal is a new initiative that we've just launched a couple months ago, I think, where brands and verified copyright owners and trademark owners can register, as you said, within the Brand Portal. The primary use is to take down, or excuse me, to submit DMCA takedown requests for if you believe that a seller on site is using your intellectual property in a way that it wasn't intended to. We do offer some support when it comes to content. So if you're having issues updating your content, or you want to make sure that your content, which is the official verified content, is the one that shows on site, we can help you get access to override existing content or get yourself ranked higher. However, we don't offer the ability to just kind of blanketly, remove sellers from site just because they're selling something and you don't want them to be. That's anti-competitive. That's in violation of a lot of antitrust laws. So we're never going to do something like that. Or I guess I shouldn't say never, but we probably won't do anything like that. At least not in the kind of blanket way that I've stated. So yeah, we're not going to be taking down unauthorized sellers on your behalf. We will be providing you with the best possible tools and resources to outcompete those sellers, though.
Awesome.
Definitely. Yeah, thanks for that, Raghav. And just on the note of different resources and things as well. One of my favorite resources that the marketplace team created was the Roadmap to Success resource.
Yeah.
That is my favorite resource. It is so beautifully laid out, steps 1 through whatever, and it tells you basically how to become a pro seller. Like if you just follow these steps. And I know it's easier said than done, but maybe we'll plug that in our video as well. But I think that's a great resource that the kudos to the marketplace team for putting together. It's instrumental in really helping sellers get along. But as we kind of wind down this conversation,
big shout outs to our marketplace and creative team. Sorry, while we're on the topic, just shout out to our marketplace marketing and creative team, because they do a great job making everything just look pretty, to put it simply. I think if you look at the marketplace website right now, marketplace.walmart.com, and compare it to a Wayback Machine snapshot from 4 years ago, you'll be like, wow, this is the same company? This is Walmart? So they've definitely been pushing a lot to make it as compelling as possible.
Yeah, it looks better than regular Walmart.com.
I don't know if I go that far. We can save that for off the podcast, but I'm glad you think so.
Yeah, no, but just all jokes aside, yeah, they did a great job with that. So, definitely urge people to check that one out. But I was going to say, as we kind of wind down this conversation, Raghav, we would really love to know, what does the future of the Walmart marketplace look like? As they continue to roll out different services and implement different things to really onboard new sellers and big brands and incentivize these sellers to come on. Can you speak a little bit about maybe if you're allowed to share any details of what the future looks like as we continue to grow this channel?
Yeah, totally. So I think I'd be happy to share, kind of just as somebody who's been in the e-commerce space and in this marketplace world for quite some time, I'd love to share kind of my thoughts. Just a disclaimer, just for posterity, this is not the official view of Walmart. This is not like a forecast by any means. This is just some guy that does marketplace BD talking about what he thinks. I think for me, the biggest thing that I'm seeing when it comes to where our marketplace is heading and what our sellers are telling us about how they view the marketplace is a lot of folks are starting to think about Walmart Marketplace and marketplaces in general, for that matter, as being the first step. I think a lot of times historically, marketplace has been seen as something to do after the fact, or kind of a side channel you can set up, where selling wholesale or selling as a vendor was kind of the main goal. And I think a lot of people were setting up marketplace accounts to supplement their first party accounts with us, which is fine. And that's a great strategy. And a lot of people are doing that. But I think what's really exciting to me is the number of sellers and even big brands that I'm seeing come to our site who are saying, I want to just exist on marketplace. I want to make this the primary way I sell to Walmart customers. And I want to make sure that I'm offering a fantastic experience to customers selling directly as myself. One great example that I can talk about is our partnership with Fanatics that launched a couple of years ago, which it's funny, I was on a different team back then, but still supporting the marketplace because I helped launch that partnership when it first came out. Fanatics, as some of you may know, is the biggest and pretty much only authorized seller of all authentic sports products in the US and in some areas internationally. So anytime you buy an NFL jersey, an NHL jersey, NBA jersey, and anytime you're shopping at a Teams shop or NFLshop.com, that's all powered by Fanatics. Fanatics is a great example of a company that has made Marketplace a major sales channel for them instead of, prioritizing the first party business, where you can go to walmart.com right now and you can buy the official Nike jerseys, the official, Super Bowl championship locker room hat within hours after the game ends. Whereas typically if you were buying stuff in stores, it might take some time for, we're going to buy the products, make sure it's the right price, make sure it's the right team. It'll take a while to roll out to customers. You can't replicate We couldn't historically replicate the experience of shopping on NFLshop.com on Walmart.com. But now with Marketplace, where fanatics can take control of the price, the content, the imagery, and how things are pushed out, they and the brands and the teams feel a lot more comfortable making sure that customers are getting a great experience. So I think that's just one example of a great seller that's seen success on our site and that the press has been talking about, that is building a strategy specifically for Marketplace rather than thinking of Marketplace as an afterthought. And anecdotally, I see a lot of sellers who, a lot of times people will sell on Marketplace in an attempt to get noticed by some of the buyers or, kind of make a name for themselves on Walmart, with the eventual end goal being to get picked up and brought in stores or brought to .com wholesale. I'm seeing a lot of sellers recently that come on thinking, oh yeah, let me test out with Marketplace and then eventually, finish a conversation with a buyer. I'm seeing a lot of sellers that start that way end up saying to me, you know what, actually, like, I don't think I'm going to do first party. I think I'd rather keep control of everything and, ship 2 days to customers, maintain control of my pricing and my content. And it's really exciting to me as somebody who works on Marketplace to realize that people are seeing us as a main sales channel that they can build a business around. So I think, again, that was kind of a long-winded way of saying, I think people are building out Marketplace as a first and primary sales channel. And that to me is the most exciting thing about being in this space right now.
Yeah, I think Marketplace definitely gives you more control to some degree, right? When you talk about pricing, content, things like that. So definitely agree. I'm going to do things a little backwards here because we should have done this at the beginning of the episode. And I want our audience, Raghav, why don't you tell us about you, just a little bit about your background, right? Like just personally. And again, disclaimer, this is not Walmart talking, this is Raghav talking. But, tell our audience a little bit about Raghav.
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to share a bit about myself. And you're right, we maybe should have done this at the beginning, but hey, I love talking about myself and I love talking, so happy to throw it in whenever. My name is my name is Raghav Mathur. I've been at Walmart just about 3 years. I started off as a buyer, a category specialist technically on the sports license business, like I said, where I supported the Fanatics partnership. Came over to the Marketplace team just over a year ago at this point. I went to school at UC Berkeley. I actually studied the humanities, so I was a South Asian studies major. I studied journalism, a bit of entrepreneurship and startup law mixed in there, but very much somebody who likes thinking about people and societies and how they interact and come together. There's a lot of, this podcast probably isn't the place for it, but there are a lot of really interesting similarities to looking at, a 3,000-year historical review of South Asia and how society developed, and how the e-commerce space developed, and how retail and business in the modern era continues to develop. So if you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, let's go grab a beer or grab a soda somewhere and ask me about what the Indus Valley civilization has to do with Walmart Marketplace. I'll talk your ear off for a couple hours. I also have a bit of an entrepreneurial background where I founded a company called Black Shell Media back in 2013, where we were doing video game publishing and marketing. I sold the company last month to a larger publisher called Plug and Digital. So kind of closing the entrepreneurial chapter of my life for now. Thank you. But excited to be kind of focusing in and have more time to focus on my time at Walmart.
Yeah, well, by the way, we don't like to waste good content here. So that's not a beer conversation. That's not a podcast conversation, it sounds like.
I'd be happy to come back on for that. Let's do it. I think this time the approvals I might need won't be Walmart PR, but rather my old professors at Berkeley. I'm going to be sending them an email saying, what facts should I share? What should I talk about?
A full party, a full round table here. We get to include whoever.
There we go.
But in keeping in the spirit of going backwards here, the most important part to end this conversation is, where do people start if they want to start on a marketplace?
Yeah, I think the Marketplace website is a great starting point. I'm sure we can put it in the show notes, but marketplace.walmart.com. Go there, you'll have all the information you could possibly need about the new seller savings campaign, about selling on Walmart, about the legal policies and guidelines, some of the additional incentives and programs like Marcus by Goldman Sachs, WFS, 2-Day, Pro Seller Badge. We have tons of articles on there that you can read through before you even apply to make sure that it's a good fit and make sure that you're ready to get started. Or if you are able to get in touch with me or the folks at Vendo, I'm sure we could facilitate introductions and help folks get set up if you're having certain challenges. But I would say applying on the website is a great way to get started, especially since if you apply, like I said, before March 31st, you can get take advantage of the new seller savings and sell for 30 days commission free.
Yeah, on that point, Raghav has been instrumental in helping a lot of our clients get set up on the marketplace. So to his point, whether you reach out to us or I don't know, Raghav, if you want to share your email address or if you'd like us to put in the show notes, people can always reach out to you, I would assume, to help get set up on the marketplace too.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I think, don't want to share my email address, but if you send your application in through the website, my BD team is reviewing all those applications that come in and we're taking a look at the sellers. So if we see that you're stuck or having some challenges, you'll probably hear from one of us or from our counterparts on technical onboarding or trust and safety.
Well, this will be my shameless plug of Vendo to say, if you come to us, we'll help you get to Raghav and get to the business development team, obviously, if it's a worthwhile opportunity for Walmart.com marketplace. Raghav, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your time joining us. We hope this is the first of many, including the Southeast Asia e-commerce evolution discussion for the next time.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you both for having me, and big thanks to Vendo for all you do and for hosting this space. Yeah, head to marketplace.walmart.com if you want to learn more.
Mark, any closing comments?
All good. Yeah. Get on the Walmart marketplace today. You know, you're missing out if you're not on it. So yeah, with that, I think we can close out. Thanks again, Raghav, for being here.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Another Vendo podcast. And as always, remember, protect your brand and sell more. Thanks, guys.